Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and Call of Dragons just dropped out of nowhere some breaking news / information that we're going to be covering and sharing our thoughts with on migration. We know that we were waiting for the remaining details to be released. They finally did on the Discord. Now, I did go check in-game to see if there might have been a mail or a system mail that was sent out. There was not. So the only place you can get this information, at least right now, unless they also maybe did it on the Facebook, but I haven't checked there yet. So, we're going to read through this, share my thoughts, let's see how it goes. If you enjoy the content, as always, make sure you throw us some, because it helps out a lot. So we have Dear Lords. Recently we issued the Call of Dragons Migration Rules FAQ to answer some common questions. We've also received feedback. Okay, migration permits due to the facts length, cover details, migration permits, migration system first launched, leading to confusion amongst the Lords. Therefore, we will now provide detailed explanation. Okay, great, here we go. When designing the seasonal migration system in Call of Dragons, we aimed to ensure that Lords of different power levels can migrate smoothly when they have migration requirements. Specifically, Lords with a power level of 25 mil or below do not occupy server migration slots and can migrate at any time using migration permits obtained for free within the game. Interesting. So 25 mil or below can migrate anywhere for free. Sorry, not for free. But can migrate and it won't count towards slots. Okay. And again, keep in mind, that's your normal slots, right? You get your 350, 200 for active, and then what we assume is probably around 75 to 100, give or take, for crowded. Sorry, not for crowded. It's within that. You get the 200 for active, but once you go to crowded, I mean, it probably will be something like that, but it's up until full, essentially. Lords with a power level above 25 mil and up to 40 million can accumulate free migration permits during the migration period and use them to migrate. You could accumulate free migration permits during. What does that even mean? So are they going to give you another way to obtain migration permits? Because they said the only ways to do that is through Alliance stores, where you have to pay 400k credits, or bundles that you'd have to purchase. Now, once again, I have more questions. Lords with a power level above 40 million can migrate at any time by obtaining enough migration permits through both free and paid methods. Oh, wow. So this is going to be a third method to obtain migration permits. That's a pretty big mic drop moment there. At any time by obtaining enough migration permits through both free and paid. Oh, never mind. So maybe it's the same. I'm tripping. It says both free and paid. This is free. So maybe it's the same. But the wording here is confusing because it makes it seem as though you're going to be able to accumulate a different type of migration permit during the migration window, unless they're trying to say that maybe you can only purchase migration permits during the window from the Alliance shop. But that wouldn't make sense, right? You should be able to purchase them at any time. Oh gosh, wording is hurting my face. As such, we roughly set the required number of migration permits for the different power levels as follows. So here we go. So here's some big stuff. So one permit is 10 million or below. We knew that. 2 permits is 10 to 20 million. 3 permits, 20 to 30 million. 5 permits is 30 to 40. 7 permits is 40 to 50. 10 to 15 permits is 50 to 60. So you're thinking probably 1 per 2 million. So it's probably 50 to 52. 52 to 54 is 11. 12, 13, 14, and then 15 to 60. Maybe something like that. Maybe it's like every 1.5 to 2 million, somewhere in between there. I mean, that's probably how you could average it. 20 to 25 is 60 to 70 million. 30 to 35, 70 to 80. 40 to 45, 80 to 90. 50 to 55, 90 to 100 mil. And if you're 100 million and 1, I guess, and anything above that is just a flat 60 permits, right? So if you're 100, 200, 250, 500, a billion power, it's still 60 permits. Now, let us compare real quick, because I believe I had put this as a pin here, or wherever I had it. Is this it? 60? No, that's treaty arrows. Hang on. I know I put this somewhere. At least I thought. Okay, here. Look, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Bear with me. Let's do this, and we'll do RoK migration cost. Here we go. We'll just grab this one, because I do want to compare, as I do think that's going to be important. So let's do view, open image, and new tab. I think that should do it for us. Cool. So let's do a little kind of side by side, if we will, and do some comparison here. So let's minimize. And then can I get this kind of ish? No, we'll do it this way. Yeah, that I think that should work. So we got less than 10 million power, and again, I have to assume that this is okay. Yeah, this is AP, so this is good. So we have one permit is 10 mil. One permit is 10 mil. Two permits 10 to 20. Three permits. Again, below 20, right? So you're saving a permit here. And this is comparing RoK to CoD. Well, let's look at 20, at 2, so you're saving a permit. 20 to 30 million is 6 permits, and again, it's at the peak, right? So 3, 4, 6, right? So you're saving half the permits from RoK to CoD. At that, let's look at 30 to 40 mil threshold. So 30 to 40 mil, at 40 mil and below it's 12, it's 5 here. So it's less than half. 40 to 50 million. 50 million is 20. 40 to 50 is 7. Less than half. Let's look at 50 to 60. So 60 is 30. And you can see here, it's already half and less than half. Right? A lot more favorable in CoD. Not that we're trying to make cases for more RoK players to come over and enjoy some better migration. At least costs. Okay, let's go to 60 to 70. 20 to 25. 70 is 40. So here, this is where it starts scaling like half, but a little bit more than half, right? And we figured that probably at the higher tier thresholds, it would probably scale like that. And so now let's look at 70 to 80. So 70 to 80, 80 is 50. 70 is here, 30 to 35, right? So now it's a little more than half, but still lower. Let's look at 80 to 90, 40 to 45. At 90, you're at 60. Right, so here it's what 25%, right? Higher, or this would be 25% lower, right? At least on the top end for CoD, right? So again, still cheaper. Then we look at 90 to 100, 100 to 70, 50 to 55, right? So little more than half, but still cheaper. And then you look at 100 mil plus, it's 75. This is 60 permits. You're saving 15, right? You're 20% cheaper. So again, overall is cheaper. At the kind of mid to lower tiers, it's a lot more favorable, but still cheaper even if it's more than half, a little bit more than half of the cost. Now let's read the last line here, which is, additionally, considering that many lords may face high migration costs due to their accumulated power over the past year, when the migration system goes live, we plan to distribute 5 migration permits to all lords. Oh, interesting. Face high migration costs due to their accumulated over the past year. When the goes live, we plan to distribute 5 migration permits to all lords who conclude the settlement period of Season 1. When the migration system launches, lords, please remember to log in and claim them. For current Season 1 participants, don't worry, you can claim these 5 migration permits after entering the settlement period of Season 1. Wow, okay, so they're going to give everyone 5 free permits. I mean, what is that? That's like 5. Gosh, I have to do some quick math here. What's 5 divided by 60, right? Okay, so that's 8%, right? You're getting 8% of yours for anyone who's 100 mil plus. I mean, yes. Is it better than nothing? Of course. Is it what most of us were probably hoping for? Well, and I say hoping because, right, they initially said that your KVK season would still cost gems prior to the migration permit phase coming out. I think the challenge is that a number of the kingdoms that have already finished their KVKs prior to the update have already had that. But you have a number of kingdoms, like the SB2 kingdoms and another KVK specifically, that are going to be finishing their KVKs after the update goes live. And so it feels like, for me, part of that was, okay, and again, I'm still going to read this. Well, maybe that should be it. Here, let's see this. Please note that lords currently in phase S2, SOB1, SOT1, and SOB2, and have not entered their home realm can still migrate during the season of migration phase by spending 5,000 gems. Okay, so there we go. I just went into that whole spiel for nothing, because it's right there. And again, this is good. I am happy. This is a W, right? I'm going to talk about, have my own thoughts to share about the migration system and everything right? I've said this publicly already, but I lean more towards I just kind of don't see the point of a migration system, respectfully. I think it's a lot better just to have more autonomous tools and management tools and gatekeeping tools for a kingdom, and that's really all you need. And you can keep the 5K gem cost. There wasn't anyone screaming from the rooftops saying, "Oh yeah, you know what we really need in the game? We need them to add in a RoK migration system, or we need them to make the current migration system more costly for players." Like, no one was asking for that. No one was advocating for that. At least in any kind of major or majority movement. Let's be real. However, is this nice that they are holding true to their word when they said that those kingdoms that were still in KVK after the update goes live will still get an opportunity to use 5K gems to move, and then the permit system will take over? This is nice, right? You want to call it a win. You want to call it them keeping their word. It's nice to see. And then, of course, if you have any questions regarding the migration system, please feel free to provide feedback. Yeah, so my thoughts, I will say this, right? Because, again, I would love to do more of a deep dive into this in a separate video. However, it's nice to see that the permits and the cost to migrate is cheaper in COD. I actually think that's more of a win. Personally, I think that's going to make, if you want to say make the business more money, right? I actually believe that. I think more people, when they see this, I'd be curious if people from RoK come over to COD when they look at how favorable the migration permits are, because this is something that when things cost less, at the end of the day, more people will buy. And not to say that's like a universal norm, but in this particular case, I very much believe that as it comes to migration in Kingdom Builders, having a lower price will encourage people to migrate more and or potentially spend on migration more. With that in mind, again, like I said, I'm just not the biggest fan of kind of adding in this additional spending hurdle that we now have to overcome, right? Or that's kind of in the way that you have to use, right, essentially. It does worry me a little bit on the free-to-play players for how long it may take for them to acquire permits, unless there is some kind of like mysterious third way that you're going to be able to do it during the migration period, which, again, maybe that's just typo or misleading wording there unintentionally. And if there's not, and it's only the two ways that you're only going to be able to do it, which is through the 400K credits once a week, right? You're going to get 4 a month. And if you get 4 a month, that puts you, even if you get 4 a month, you're looking at 5 weeks, right? Until, if you're 30 to 40 mil, until you're able to move. At 7 permits, if you're 40 to 50 mil. So, like, we look at some of the strongest free-to-play players right now. Right, some of them, and let's see real quick. I think I have my little sheet here. Where's my sheet for free-to-play? So let's just give you an example. Let's look at some of the top free-to-play players right now. So when we last took the data a month ago, right, we had 3 players above 50 mil. Now, it's probably safe to say that Snowman Mars and maybe Dre as well are probably over that. Maybe Doremi and Shisho and Viator and Klaus. But I would say at minimum, Dre and above are probably, right? So that means you have, as a soft gauge, 7 free-to-play players that are over 50 mil. Given that, let's be fair, given they are going to get 5 permits immediately, and they'll be able to purchase one after the update, they'll be at 6. However, they need to get to 10. So that means that they're still going to have to wait a month, even if they wanted to move, right? And so, now, yeah, that's not the end of the world, but it is time that they're going to have to. Now, one of the things I liked that they did with RoK is that you could purchase as many migration items as you wanted to, as long as you had the credits for it. I don't see the need for why they're putting a restriction on the amount of migration permits that you can purchase, and they're spacing it out in weekly intervals. If you have the credits, you should just be able to purchase as many as you want. I don't see, again, you'd have to hit me with like a really good justification and a good explanation, because I don't see how it's a net negative more than it is a net positive for just making it to where, like, make it to where alliances don't need to add them. Just make it to where permits are just there, right? And there's an unlimited amount. And then people can just buy them. Or better yet, don't associate migration permits with alliances, put them in the Universal Store, right? And then you can just go buy them with your alliance credits or something, right? To that fact, like, so make it separate, so that way it doesn't require for you to be in an alliance. Or if you are, make it where you can buy them the moment that an alliance is made, so that way you don't ostracize people that want to move but are unable to join active alliances that have them there, right? Now, yeah, it is once a week, right? So it's not as though in COD they have to place them there. They're already there. But I'm talking about if you were to change the system and just make it a little bit more favorable. And again, I'll do more of a deep dive and really kind of get into the weeds on this. I just wanted to share some initial thoughts on this. But this is nice that we get to see what the permit tier breakdown is. We get to see what the threshold levels are for 25 million below that can basically move without it affecting kingdom power. I actually think that's kind of a nice-ish thing. I still would like for the kings and queens to have full autonomy and being able to accept, deny everyone, and because everyone would have to apply. So I don't really like the idea of players still being able to move freely in that way, right? Where if you have the permits, you get to move for free. I still believe everyone should apply because I think there's a lot more quality control you can have with that as a kingdom overall, and it just allows for management to feel a lot more secure and comfortable. Because it's not just about people coming, it's about how the people coming can and may affect everyone that's in the kingdom. So you have to also kind of think about the equilibrium, the community integrity, and how that will affect people as well. And that's not to say that every single person that joins the kingdom is going to be, boisterous, or they're going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? That they're going to be challenging, so to speak. But I just very much believe in that, and I just think there's a lot more pros than there are cons, right? To just compared to kind of leaving the floodgates open, if you will. And then obviously being able to find out that they're going to honor the 5K gems, I think that's great. With that in mind, that's going to do it for me. You let me know what you think, right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have different views, different standpoints? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. As always, until next time, we'll catch y'all later.